This is Oklahoma's own News on 6.
I've come across a vehicle abandoned in the middle of the road at about 2300 East 36th Street North. I've got a subject who won't show me his hands.
Not for taser, I think.
Got a feeling that's about to happen.
That looks like a bad dude, too.
That big bad dude was my twin brother.
Shots fired!
Ooh.
321, we have shots fired. We have one suspect down.
He needed help. He needed a hand. But what he got was a bullet in his lungs.
No doubt by now you have seen the video released by Tulsa police showing a Tulsa police officer shooting and killing an unarmed man, 40-year-old Terence Crutcher. New tonight, you'll hear from witnesses who encountered Crutcher before police arrived.
We continue our live team coverage of the deadly shooting. News on 6 anchor Aaron Conrad is live from TPD headquarters with the changes one community group is demanding. And Tony Russell is live from the Gilcrease Police Division with those new 911 calls. Tony?
Those witnesses are 911 callers. They called to report Crutcher's SUV running in the middle of 36th Street North. But those calls never made it to Officer Betty Shelby, who stopped to investigate the broken down SUV while en route to another call.
He's got his hands up there for her now. Mike, I'm going to hit the recorder. This guy's still walking.
That looks like a bad dude, too. To be honest with you.
I think he may have just been tasered.
Shots fired!
We have shots fired. We have one suspect down. We need him here.
Within seconds, Terence Crutcher is tasered and shot by police. What you don't see is how it all began. First, two 911 calls come in about Crutcher's SUV stopped in the middle of 36th Street North.
Actually, an abandoned vehicle. Somebody left their vehicle running in the middle of the street with the doors wide open.
And there's nobody around it?
There was a guy running from it. Somebody was going to blow up. I got out and I was like, do you need help? And he was like, come here, come here. And I said, well, what's going on? And he's like, come here, come here. I think it's going to blow up. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Okay.
Started taking out. He took off running.
Oh, wow.
Just left it. The driver's side door is open and like somebody jumped off and it's on the yellow line.
Then Officer Betty Shelby, en route to another call, comes up to Terence Crutcher's SUV.
No traffic. I've got a subject who won't show me his hands.
Within seconds, 4 officers are approaching Crutcher, and TPD's helicopter is circling overhead. Police Chief Chuck Jordan says the video from the helicopter is very difficult to watch.
I want to assure our community, and I want to assure all of you and people across the nation who are going to be looking at this, we will achieve justice. Period.
Attorneys for Crutcher's family say the video shows there's no reason for deadly force with all those officers around him.
There's absolutely no justification regarding the 3 exceptions that exist which would authorize the use of lethal force. But having said that, I would urge all of you, and I'm sure you will, to just watch the video.
Chief Jordan says police didn't find a gun on Crutcher or in the car at all. The police department has also called on the United States Department of Justice to conduct a civil rights investigation to determine if Crutcher's civil rights were violated. Reporting live in Tulsa tonight, Tony Russell, News on 6.
New tonight, people lit candles and walked along Peoria Avenue near where Terence Crutcher was shot Friday night. They left candles along the way and chanted "Our strength" and "Hands up, don't shoot."
And this morning, about a dozen people protested Crutcher's shooting outside the Tulsa County Courthouse. They carried signs and chanted, but there was no violence, and the Crutcher family asks anyone wanting to protest to keep it that way, peaceful.
Let's protest. Let's do what we have to do. But let's just make sure that we do it peacefully to respect the culture of our family.
My hope is that we remain a strong city, a together city, and we don't want to see things that happen in other cities here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I also request this, that we pray for wisdom and guidance as our community addresses this sad event.
Let's show people that Tulsa is better than anybody else.
A community group wants Officer Shelby arrested. And We the People Oklahoma wants other changes made within TPD. News on 6 anchor Aaron Conrad is live outside the county courthouse to tell us about that. Aaron?
Well, Scott, this was one of those gatherings where you could really feel the tension and the frustration within the community. Dozens of people showing up angry about what they're calling a systemic failure within the Tulsa Police Department.
Frustration, anger, and outrage.
This is the part that's pissing me off because we as a people deserve better.
Community action group We the People Oklahoma hosted a press conference Monday afternoon about the police shooting of Terence Crutcher. The group is asking for immediate change within the Tulsa Police Department. They are calling for the immediate arrest of Officer Betty Shelby, a culture of change towards more community policing and having more black officers on the force. The group also wants Tulsa County District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler to recuse himself from the investigation.
They need for Scott Pruitt, the Attorney General, to assign a special prosecutor to come in and investigate this case.
But what We the People Oklahoma says the biggest issue is the constant profiling of black men, something Crutcher's sister Tiffany also talked about with us after hearing police on scene calling Crutcher a big bad dude.
We see it so many times where black men are stereotyped and prejudged, and in this case, that's what happened.
And while the outrage could be felt at Monday's news conference,
everybody is uneasy. Everybody is like this.
Crutcher's family is urging for peace.
Tulsa County District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler tells us there is no reason for me or my office to recuse from handling this case. I will discharge my duties as I am sworn to do under the law. Live in Tulsa, Erin Conrad, News on 6.
Tonight, along with the state investigation, the U.S. Attorney's Office is also investigating the shooting and any possible civil rights violations. Tulsa officer Betty Shelby, who fired the shot that killed Crutcher, is on administrative leave pending the outcome of the department's internal investigation. And again, the police video released today is very graphic, and because of that, News on 6 is only posting edited versions of the ground and chopper video. You can see more of the edited videos on newson6.com, and also join us tomorrow for 6 in the morning. Mayor Dewey Bartlett will be here to discuss the shooting and those videos.
Well, tomorrow's the deadline for a former Oklahoma City police officer to appeal his conviction. In December, Daniel Holtzclaw was convicted of sexually assaulting women while on patrol. He was sentenced to 263 years in prison.
St. Francis Health System is sending letters to patients who may be affected by a data breach. A spokesperson with the hospital says after working with investigators, they've discovered at least 6,000 names and addresses that had been illegally accessed. According to the hospital, the exposed information did not include security numbers, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, or financial details. The hackers demanded a ransom to return the information. The hospital did not pay it. Instead, they disabled the server. Well, there's no question Oklahoma's schools had to make cuts this year, but parents at one Green Country district wonder how necessary are their sacrifices. News on 6 reporter Annie Chang is live from Catoosa. Their school board held a special budget meeting tonight. Annie?
Well, Terry, you'll remember Catoosa moved to 4-day school weeks this fall. The district saying it needed to save money. Some parents are wondering, though, why then the district is funding other projects.
And we're back to square one again.
Lee Berggren has 3 children attending Catoosa schools, and he does not like the way the district is spending money.
Doesn't make any sense when they're saying they're trying to keep a balanced budget and we're letting teachers go and letting things fall apart.
In July, Catoosa School Board approved funding for a brand new $1.5 million press box at its high school football stadium, complete with elevators. In the meantime, Catoosa families are now accommodating a Monday through Thursday schedule to save the district money.
It's kind of disturbing as a parent to wonder why we need this big press box when we've got a perfectly fine one on the other side.
The bulk of that press box funding comes from bond issues, aka tax money, which cannot be used for daily operations like teachers' salaries or transportation. Some of it is surplus money. Catoosa has made several upgrades funded by bond issues in the past. MacBook laptops for its middle schoolers, a new high school cafeteria that doubles as a fortified tornado shelter. But the press box, Bergen feels, is over the line.
That's a big slap in the face to your community.
Superintendent Rick Kibbe says the district has been planning this press box upgrade for nearly a decade. It's a long-term investment, he says, that will be worth it down the road.
We have a community with a vision, and we have a board with a vision, with a commitment to do things right when we do them.
Superintendent Kibbe says in March he and the school board will take another look at 4-day school weeks and decide whether to continue another school year of that. Reporting live in Catoosa, I'm Annie Chang, News on 6.
Construction could start late this year on a 100-unit apartment complex near the University of Tulsa. The land's already been cleared, an entire block on 6th, just east of Lewis. The George Kaiser Family Foundation will make it the second phase of the West Park development, with 50 apartments for low-income residents and the rest going at market rates.
All the units are finished at market rate or above. I mean, they're all very nice, and as opposed to you know, some lesser finish for a tax credit unit versus a market rate unit, they're all finished the same.
Now, just across the street, 2 older homes were demolished today. That land is owned by TU, which hasn't announced yet what will replace them. Well, summer isn't going out without a heat wave. You can't tell from the Osage Casino Skycam network, but it is still plenty warm outside. Coming up in 6 minutes, Travis tells us when we might see some relief from the hot temperatures.
Lots of us dream of winning the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, and some Oklahomans thought they did. New tonight, why the sweepstakes company says it was all a mistake.
And Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Tim Kaine stopped by an Iowa coffee house today, and next here at 10 when he's visiting the Sooner State. Democratic Vice Presidential candidate Tim Kaine will attend a private fundraiser in Oklahoma City on Friday. Hillary Clinton supporters are hoping to raise $500,000 there. So far, no public appearances in the state by Kaine have been announced. Today, both presidential candidates spoke about security. Hillary Clinton's rally in Philadelphia was planned as an outreach to millennials, but after the bombing in New York, it turned into a discussion on terrorism.
This is a fast-moving situation and a sobering reminder that we need steady leadership in a dangerous world.
In Florida, Republican candidate Donald Trump blamed the Obama administration for letting in too many refugees.
From 9/11 to San Bernardino, we have seen how failures to screen who is entering the United States puts all of our citizens, everyone in this room, at danger.
With less than 50 days now until Election Day, Clinton maintains a slim national lead over Trump.
Prosecutors in New York have already charged Ahmed Khan Rahami with attempted murder for this weekend's bombing in New York City. The FBI says they have linked the suspects to devices used Saturday in New York and in his home state of New Jersey. Investigators say Rahami is a naturalized American citizen originally from Afghanistan, but so far there is no evidence connecting him to any terrorist cell.
I think it's important to remember what terrorists and violent extremists are trying to do. They are trying to hurt innocent people, but they also want to inspire fear in all of us.
Saturday's explosion in Chelsea injured 29 people. Police in St. Cloud, Minnesota think an attack inside a mall was inspired by ISIS violence. Investigators say Dahir Adan asked shoppers if they were Muslim, and if they said no, he stabbed them. Eventually, an off-duty police officer shot and killed Adan. Police say Adan was originally from Somalia and lived in the U.S. for several years. There is a large Somalian community in Minnesota. A fight outside of a Tulsa club ends with 3 men stabbed, one of them left in critical condition.
That is one of the stories you might have missed today. In the middle of the fight, police say someone pulled out a knife. The men ended up with stab wounds, and all of them went to Tulsa hospitals. Officers say one of them was in critical condition, as we say, while the other 2 were treated, released, and then taken in for questioning.
A Tulsa neighborhood is taking its feud with the church one step further. Neighbors near 36th and New Haven have put up these signs that say, "Save the Owls from LDS." The neighborhood is upset with the Church of Latter-day Saints after they cut down several trees earlier this month. The church plans to build a parking lot, but the neighbors say construction could put some owls that live in those trees in danger. The neighborhood even hung up this banner they say is to, quote, remind our Mormon neighbors of their own doctrine every time they pull into their parking lot.
Now, the Oklahoma weather expert, Travis Meyer.
Man, the heat was on today. Wow, it was a hot one. And as we start to end summer, we're ending it on a hot note, obviously. Temperatures tonight have cooled off here. One to show that it does rain in Southern California, even though a lot of times we say it doesn't. There is a cold front up to the north of us. That cold front is moving to the south. It's not doing much, though. It's giving us some strong to severe thunderstorms in northern portions of Missouri, while we're relatively quiet here across eastern Oklahoma. But earlier today, wow, was it warm. It was just downright hot in many areas. In fact, give you an idea, around the metro heat index values, these weren't actual temperatures. We would have really melted then. But still, heat index values 109 from downtown Tulsa all the way up toward Owasso, 108 in Broken Arrow and Coweta. It's like, holy cow. And so we had heat advisories issued during the afternoon. Tonight, it's not a full moon. It's a waning gibbous. And so we're looking at the moon starting to shed a few pounds, you could say. We're talking about temperatures running at 86. The heat index is still 97 at 10 o'clock. And here we are well into the middle of September. And a lot of folks saying, okay, I think we've had enough. And we're saying, yeah, but it's going to take a little bit longer. We got to get to the weekend, then things will start to change. Meantime, humidity value in the dew point, oppressive, and there's a little bit of a breeze, but that's it. Most of our temperatures running still mid-80s. Once you get outside of Tulsa, a little bit better. 78 Pryor, also in Wagner, 82 in Coweta, 84 in Tulsa, or I should say Broken Arrow. Then you get in downtown Tulsa, we're at 86 and 87 for you guys at Catoosa for one of the warmest temperatures in the region. Speaking of, much of the area to the east and northeast, a little bit cooler in their area, and then we're looking at temperatures still very warm downtown. You can kind of see the little heat island thing going on. And as we look at what's happening tonight through the morning, relatively quiet weather. And it's the same story. Temperatures will be around 74 downtown. Upper 60s to around 70, just about for all the rest of us. And then as we go through the daytime hours, we're looking for another hot day. Temperatures back in the low to mid 90s. Downtown Tulsa 98. Our heat index downtown could even be hotter than 106 to 105 that we're forecasting. Most of the area of eastern Oklahoma will be someplace in this zone for most of the afternoon. Now, since the sun's starting to set earlier, that does knock it down about 5 o'clock on. So we just have to deal with it not quite as long, but still pretty severe heat. So if you're planning to be outside tomorrow, just know, same as what we just went through today. So as we go on into Wednesday morning, we'll be about 70 degrees. As we go through the daytime hours, we're going to be back up to hot readings again. Not quite as severe, but still very hot for this time of year. Should be in the low 80s. Instead, we'll be in the low 90s, maybe as warm as 93 to 94 Tulsa to the north. The break in the heat starts to show up as we get closer to the weekend. Heat index values will still be in the 90s, but notice our temperatures by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday finally getting down to near normal. That is going to be some welcome news. I'm ready for it because it's a little hard working when it's this hot. But our extended forecast for the Tulsa State Fair time period as we get to not too far away. Looking for temperatures still to be at or above normal, but higher chance of rain. Go figure. Anyway, we see temperatures by morning still warm, as we said. Outlying areas about 69, 70, 74 around Tulsa. Warm start, sunrise just a little after 7. And then as we look on into noontime, 91. Just hot and humid day already. Heat index is in the upper 90s. 98 by afternoon. Heat index is 105. Downtown we could be 107 to 108. Southeast breeze, if you want to call it a breeze, at 6 to 12 miles per hour. When it's that hot, I need a wind, not a breeze. We're looking at 94 on Wednesday, so still dangerous if you're working outside. Make sure you're still doing the summer thing of precaution, light colored clothing, plenty of water. And then as we extend the forecast, it looks like we'll see a break. Starting on Saturday, better chances on Sunday and Monday of some showers and storms, and then starting to get that north wind moving in on Sunday and Monday for the cool front. And I think everybody will be ready for a break.
I think so.
No, I think so too.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Travis.
You bet.
Coming up, what the Cowboys expect from Baylor in their Big 12 opener.
And after that Ohio State loss, there's open competition for playing time over at OU, and John will tell us about it next.
Driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is News on 6 Sports with John Holcomb.
Feeling a little better tops the Express Pros Sports Desk tonight. Saturdays in Stillwater have been interesting this season, to say the least. Getting past Pitt with a strong performance after a long weather delay has given the Cowboys some confidence heading into Big 12 play. Now comes the first road game of the season at Baylor. 2 years ago, Mason Rudolph came out of redshirt to start in his first college game late in the season in Waco. The Cowboys found hope and their future in a loss that rainy night.
I feel a lot more confident and comfortable with myself and with my team than I did that night. You know, I think anytime it's your first, you're going to feel a little anxious and nervous.
And he actually played pretty good. And then since then, he's obviously into whatever, now 16, 17 games. And had a great game for us last Saturday.
Gundy didn't know what to expect from Rudolph in his first game. And now, after the off-the-field issues and the firing of Art Briles, there's some mystery about Baylor. The Bears are 3-0, but have battled some slow starts. Gundy says he doesn't think much on the field has changed.
They have schemes on offense that can hang out for a while, and then all of a sudden you look up and you change the channel and you look back and it was 12-6 and then it's 34-6.
A large part of OSU's success against Pittsburgh involved the deep ball, and James Washington caught 9 passes for 296 yards and 2 scores. He's the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. Punter Zach Seiner earns the conference special teams honor. With a 1-2 start to the season and a bye week this week, the Sooners are searching for some answers. Head coach Bob Stoops is taking responsibility and says coaches will evaluate players closely and young players will get a hard look.
We look at everybody every day, so we're not ignoring anyone. So yes, we'll continue to look for other players, but develop the ones we have as well.
Is there any other position that's more open for other guys to step into?
Always, yeah. Linebackers continue to. Also, receivers. There's still a lot of competition on who's getting more snaps.
That basic defense chant from Ohio State fans in response to OU backup quarterback Austin Kendall's comments on an OU TV show. He said Baker Mayfield would light them up, end quote. Stoops wasn't pleased with it.
I don't know what he could have been watching, to be quite honest with you, so he must not have watched any tape if he had that to say. So there's no place for it.
After beating Notre Dame in their opener, the Texas Longhorns gave up 50 points in a loss to Cal Saturday. Now they have the week off before heading to Stillwater and then facing OU in Dallas. Today, head coach Charlie Strong promised to be more involved in the defense. He says, I've been involved before, I'll be more involved now. And it just seems like a lot of things in the Big 12 are in a big mess. But now, also, TU, big win over North Carolina A&T. They go to Fresno State, and we'll hear from Philip Montgomery tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Better news there, we hope. Yeah. Thank you, John.
We'll be right
back.
You're a winner. That's the message some Oklahomans got over the weekend from Publishers Clearinghouse.
Sharon Skidmore was on her phone playing games on the Publishers Clearinghouse website Saturday morning when this notification with Sharon's name and city popped up saying she was a $10,000 winner. Perry Mason says the same thing happened to him, but later in the day both Skidmore and Mason were notified it was all a big mistake.
All day long thinking, oh wow, I won $10,000.
Well, no, a Publishers Clearinghouse spokesperson says it was human error, isn't it always, and the pop-up was programmed incorrectly to show the player's name, not the real winner.
Yeah.
Give her a bouquet of balloons.
Oh, yeah, and money.
And some magazines. Good to have you here, Ken.
Have a